Seen enough killing for a lifetime. You're on your end. Better make your peace.
I loved your movie. I loved it
That's nice to
in the
hear.
Land of Saints and Sinners, and for so many reasons, mainly because I'm Irish.
Ah, so am I.
Yeah. My great grandfather, O'Doherty is his surname, on my mother's side, came from
Uh-huh.
Ireland. And
Oh,
so
great.
I have a real love for it. So my question is the cinematography. I feel it really stands out in your film.
Mm.
Um, what was your plan for that?
Well, when I read the script, and it described this little town, I went to the internet and I started looking. I'd never been there, and I went to begin scouting. The location scout wanted to take me to all these places that were very convenient in Dublin and so forth. And I said, okay, but I want to see this place because I want to understand why the writer chose to set it here. And I said, well, okay, but it's very remote. It's way. I'm like, that's okay. So it is remote. It's like a 3.5 hour drive from and everything. And but when I got there, it was just stunning. It was beautiful. These, it's where the North Atlantic just slams the Ireland, and so it creates these beautiful epic cliffs. And I said, oh, well, now I get it, and we have to shoot it here. And it also the community is just kind of, because it is remote, it's kind of a picture in time. There's very little modern architecture there. You really do feel like you're stepping back into the 70s or 60s. So I was keen on shooting it there and just trying to capture that beauty as sort of a contrast to the dark aspects of this story, because it was, especially the first time I read it, the original script was really dark, and so I wanted to kind of balance that with some sort of openness and beauty.
So Liam Neeson, oh my goodness, he's one of my favorite actors ever. I've been following him, of course, since Schindler's List.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, what does he bring to this movie? And I know he's Irish too.
Oh yeah, no, he brings everything. He's just, first of all, he's just a really, really terrific human being. He's a wonderful person to spend time with. He's such a pro. He's so photogenic. He just has that heroic stature, and he towers over people, and he's got that velvet booming voice. It's almost a trick to try and underplay it a little bit so that he's more relatable. But he is such a relatable guy. That's what his charm is. And he's Irish, and it's interesting to watch the movie because he didn't have to think about his accent in this role, which is unique for him because he's always having to put a little bit of a American tinted it, or else just kind of clean it up a little bit for everyone. But this time he didn't have to worry about that, and it's really interesting to kind of, it really started to come out as he was talking to other cast members who were Irish, and they had these accents, and his started to show. And a few times I was like, what did he say? And we had to go back and get another take or clean it up a little bit later so that we could understand it.
Sure. Oh, thank you for that. I love that story. Your message in the film, I would assume, is one of redemption.
Correct.
But I'm sure there's a little more to that. Could you talk about that? It is layered, which I appreciated. The film is definitely layered.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I liked the fact that each of the characters kind of had their own, moral code, their own, they all had a reason to do what they were doing. And that kind of comes out in the last line from Liam, we all have our reasons. And so there's a believability and authenticity to each of them because we understand their point of view. So it certainly is a story of redemption for Liam's character.
I guess for others watching that aren't sinners, I mean, people of, good character watching, I felt it sent a wonderful message to everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you have no idea what you can change somebody's life by just going that extra step.
Yeah, and you see that in his relationship to Kevin, who is played by Jack Gleason, that young guy who's you know, he's such a terrific actor. I was so thrilled to get him for this part.
Were there any scenes that Liam collaborated with you? I read that about you, that you do at time you are a collaborative director, which is wonderful.
Yeah, well, I think maybe I mentioned he's the one that read the script first, and he was attached before me. He read
Okay.
it and he liked it, and so he suggested me to direct, and
Oh, fabulous.
so he thought I might like it, which because you know, I don't know why anybody would have thought of me otherwise, because this all takes place in Ireland, and I don't think anybody knew I had any connection to that country, but. Yeah, I just I loved the story, but I think I mentioned also it had a Western flavor to it. He's
Yes.
in a small town, and these outlaws come into town, and the sheriff maybe isn't quite up to the job, and so this guy has to, you know, take the gun off the wall and figure out how to save everybody. So that I love. But in terms of collaboration, I mean. You know, I learned a lot from Clint in terms of letting people show you what they can bring to the table instead of trying to micromanage everything. And it's a really powerful quality is to let the production designer and the DP and the actors, you know, come in and say, hey, how about this? Before you say, oh, you know, this is what I want, because you never know what they're gonna do and what they're going to offer, and there are many times where it's much better than what I had in mind. So in that sense, I love to let people, you know, I always have a plan because I've got a schedule and a budget and I've got to get it done. So I know what I'm going to do. If nobody comes up with any ideas, this is what we're doing. But if people come in with other thoughts, I'm all ears.
That's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you so much for speaking with me today, and I want to wish you the best of luck with the film.
No, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure, all mine. Thank you.
Okay.